So, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. What wins the McLaren inter-team battle? Could go either way. Both are talented. While Norris has more experience in F1 on his side, Piastri has, as of right now when I'm making this video, the momentum on his side. Challenger 1 is Oscar Piastri, the current championship leader on 99 points and our only multiple-time race winner this year, taking wins in China, Bahrain and most recently in Saudi Arabia, after getting his maiden victory last year at the Hungarian Grand Prix and also winning in Baku as well last year to give him a total of 5 race wins so far. As I indicated at the start of this video, Piastri is the less experienced of the two drivers, only in his 3rd season of F1, but that doesn't mean he's no as good as the next guy. He's grown into a bloody good driver and he probably will continue to. He started this 3rd season as a better driver than he was in season 2. Qualifying was a bit of a weaker point for him before, but it hasn't been in the 5 races we've had. The only times he hasn't been on the front row was the sprint race in China and then in Japan. And even then, in those 12 races, he was 3rd on the grid. Combine that with solid race pace and a quick car, at the moment anyway, and you've got a recipe for a driver that if he continues what we've seen so far, and if McLaren can keep the car up there, he could not only win the McLaren inter-team battle, but the championship as a whole. Now, going off of what I said there of Piastri being a bloody good driver and he probably will continue to grow as one, Zach Brown has said after the last race when he was asked about Piastri and now being the championship leader and all that, "I'm here to announce to everyone, I think he's only going to get stronger." And I'd be inclined to agree with him. Piastri's gotten stronger over his couple of years in the sport, and that is most likely going to continue as he gets more and more experience under his belt. Brown also poked fun at Alpine over them getting Oscar and said Aussie not going to Alpine. Lando we brought up through the ranks. Oscar we identified as the next Lando. They, as in Alpine, kind of dropped the ball there. Thank you, Otmar. Kind of dropped the ball, I think is a pretty bit of an understatement, don't you? Alpine really screwed that one up. But it has worked out quite nicely Piastri driving for McLaren instead of Alpine, because Alpine are last right now, I think. They've not been very good the last couple of years. They've had their moments, but overall they've not been brilliant, and McLaren are, well, top dog right now. But Brown in the first article I mentioned, one from Formula 1, also spoke about who they had 2 number 1 drivers, saying, "We've got our 2 number 1s. I think they're equal. They race each other hard. I think we've yet to see them really have an epic battle. I think that day is coming. I'm looking forward to it." Side note, he says this now. They race hard, they race clean. So I know everyone's waiting for that big moment. I think it's going to be a bit of a non-event for us internally. We know it's more of a when than an if. We have 2 great Grand Prix drivers racing hard next to each other the majority of the time. Something's going to happen, but that's racing, so I'm excited. As I say, he says all this now. To be honest, I'm pretty sure Mercedes would have said the same thing at one point about Hamilton and Rosberg. Look how that ended up. Hungary, Hamilton refused to let Rosberg pass. Belgium, the very next race they touched. There was Austria 2016, I think it was. There was a clash right at the end. Spain 2016. I'm just saying, things got a little bit explosive. And it very well could between Oscar and Lando. But on that, I feel it's a nice transition now to Challenger 2, Lando Norris, who took his first F1 win a year ago at Miami, which, yes, it being a year since his first win, was 100% the inspiration for this video. And he took his latest win at the season opener in Australia while claiming 3 more wins in between in Zandvoort, Singapore and Abu Dhabi to also give him a total of 5 wins. Lando Norris is a good driver. We came that. The more experienced of the 12 McLarens in his 7th season of Formula 1, but he's also right now, I'd say, the more mistake prone of the 2. Only now it seems the opposed to the mistakes coming in the races, well, okay, there is still a couple creeping through in the races, like the parking screw up in Bahrain and then falling for Lewis's DRS trick twice in Jeddah, which, okay, I won't lie, I'm a Leclerc fan, that kind of cost Lando a podium. The Leclerc fan side of me doesn't really mind that all that much, but by the by, the mistakes are now more coming for the Brit in qualifying, which is an issue when it seems that qualifying and having track position is important, given how important having clean air seems to be this year. He has put in some good performances, managing to had his aid in the madness of Australia and take the win, then limiting the damage of the start and qualifying mistakes in Bahrain and Jeddah. And if he can get on top of those small mistakes, then we could see a good battle between the 2 McLarens. Also, perhaps if he gets on top of his mindset, because there could also be something to be said there. Montoya reckons that Piastri's gotten inside his head and that his strong form has kind of gotten to him a bit, and perhaps that's the case. Norris has also admitted that he's not as on it this year as he was last, which, to be fair, I kind of would be inclined to agree with that. But whether you disagree or agree with all that, that's up to you. But I'll admit, I do kind of agree with one thing Montoya has said, that I think somebody needs to be on Lando's corner, to go to him and say, just stop looking at Oscar. Just do you. Because, I mean, yeah, you want to beat your teammate. That's goal number one for everybody. But if you focus more on yourself and improving yourself while not looking as much at the guy across the garage for you and not letting them get in your head, surely that'll help you in the long run of trying to beat him? I don't know. But with all that being said, I can't help but feel like Oscar Piastri is the stronger of the two drivers, at least right now, and is going to be the higher finishing McLaren driver come the end of the season. I think he wins the McLaren inter-team battle. Now, whether that includes him becoming the first Australian F1 world champion in 45 years remains to be seen, but... Now, yes, we do have to keep in mind that we're only just approaching Round 6, and there's plenty of time for things to change. And also, there's the Flexi Wing TD that's coming in for Barcelona, which could change things. The thing I've seen people reckoning online is McLaren and Mercedes are the top two teams that maybe will be hit harder by it, but we'll have to see what happens to it, who benefits, who doesn't, because it could change things, or it might not. Who do you think wins McLaren inter-team battle? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.